The awakening echo. The air was thick with ash and forgotten promises. 3 centuries of silence had settled over Earth like a burial shroud, the once vibrant planet reduced to a tomb of crumbling cities and encroaching wilderness. The galaxy had moved on, relegating humanity's homeworld to a cautionary tale, a dangerous species contained, neutralized, and left to decay. They had been wronged. Deep beneath the ruins of what was once Houston, in a chamber sealed against both time and radiation, power surged through dormant systems. A preservation pod hissed open, releasing wisps of cryogenic vapor into the stale air. Inside, a man's eyes snapped open, steel-gray irises with faint blue circuitry patterns spreading outward like frost on glass. Commander Jensen Cade drew a sharp breath, his first in 297 years. Pain lanced through him as dormant neural implants reactivated across his body, merging once again with flesh that had forgotten their touch. His vision swam with data streams and warning signals. "System restoration at 63%, a calm, feminine voice announced. "Welcome back, Commander. I am Echo, your integrated tactical system." Jensen's throat was raw when he finally spoke. "Status report." "Date is April 7, 2719, Echo replied. "Facility power reserves at critical levels. External sensors detect unusual activity on the surface. No contact with other preservation sites since shutdown protocol initiated." Jensen's memories came flooding back. Fire raining from orbit, the desperate evacuation of cities, the final stand as the Galactic Council declared humanity too dangerous to exist among the stars. He had volunteered for the Sentinel program, becoming more machine than man to serve as Earth's last guardian if the worst happened. The worst had happened, and now something had triggered his awakening. His body moved with mechanical precision as he stepped from the pod muscle memory guiding him to the equipment locker where his armor waited. Segments of midnight blue alloy with neural interfaces sealed around his limbs, chest, and spine, linking directly to the implants beneath his skin. A helmet with an obsidian visor completed the transformation. "Surface scan," Jensen commanded as the facility's ancient monitors flickered to life. The images that appeared made his breath catch. Massive forests had reclaimed the cities, vines crawling up broken skyscrapers like nature's bandages over mankind's wounds. But that wasn't what had awakened him. Sleek silver ships hovered above the ruins of Chicago, methodically deploying scout units. "Council vessels," Echo confirmed. "Aurelian design, scout class, they're searching for something." "They think we're dead," Jensen muttered. "Why come back after 3 centuries? He accessed the weapons vault, selecting a pulse rifle that hummed to life at his touch. His mind calculated distances, tactical approaches, vulnerabilities, the military implants functioning perfectly despite their long dormancy. "I need transport to the surface," he said. "Maintenance Shaft 7 remains operational," Echo replied. "Be advised, atmospheric toxicity levels are within tolerable parameters, but prolonged exposure is not recommended." Jensen moved through dark corridors where emergency lights barely penetrated the gloom. Each step awakened more memories, the friends he'd lost, the civilization that had burned. He had been a colonel in Earth's United Defense Force before volunteering for the experimental program that would transform him into something else entirely. The journey to the surface took nearly an hour. When Jensen finally pushed open the rusted hatch, late afternoon sunlight nearly blinded him. The sky above was an unnatural shade of amber, aftermath of the atmospheric changes caused by the Council's bombardment centuries ago. Trees towered like silent sentinels, their branches reaching toward alien ships that had no right to be there. Jensen moved like a shadow through the underbrush, Echo's sensors scanning for life signs. At the edge of a clearing, he found what he was looking for: 3 Aurelian scouts, their chitinous exoskeletons gleaming in the fading light as they collected soil samples. "Their equipment is analyzing for active human biosignatures," Echo observed. Jensen felt cold rage building in his chest. "They're making sure we're extinct." His first strike was silent and lethal. The pulse rifle discharged a concentrated blast of energy that pierced the first scout's exoskeleton before it could react. The other two whirled, mandibles clicking in alarm, but Jensen was already moving. He crossed the clearing in 3 inhuman leaps, the cybernetic enhancements in his legs propelling him forward with impossible speed. The second scout managed to fire a warning shot that glanced off Jensen's shoulder plate before a blade extended from his forearm gauntlet, slicing through the alien's neck. The third threw down its weapon, backing away in what might have been fear. "Impossible," it chittered in broken human language. "Earth dead, humans extinct." Jensen grabbed the scout by its throat. "Clearly," he growled, "your intelligence is outdated." From the alien, he learned the truth. A Council expedition fleet had returned to Earth to harvest rare minerals that had been deemed too dangerous to extract while humans still lived. Their scans had detected energy fluctuations deep underground, triggering Jensen's awakening protocols. But worse news followed. A fleet of 17 warships was approaching Earth's orbit, carrying mining equipment that would break the planet apart from the inside. After dispatching the last scout, Jensen tapped into the abandoned military satellite network. Most had fallen from orbit or been destroyed, but a few ancient platforms still drifted in the void, dormant but functional. There, he confirmed, watching grainy images of the approaching fleet, 2 days before they reach Earth. Echo's voice was cool and analytical. "You cannot defeat 17 warships alone, Commander." "I won't be alone," Jensen replied. "The Sentinel program had multiple facilities. I wasn't the only one preserved." His armor's navigation system guided him east, toward what had once been the Appalachian Mountains. The journey took hours of continuous running, his enhanced body moving tirelessly through forests and ruins. Dawn was breaking when he reached the hidden entrance, a seamless section of rock face that responded to his neural signature. "Facility Lincoln," Echo announced. "Status dormant but intact." Jensen placed his palm against the scanner, sending a pulse of energy through the ancient systems. Doors that hadn't opened in centuries groaned in protest, revealing a dark tunnel leading deep into the mountain. Inside, emergency lighting flickered reluctantly to life, illuminating rows of preservation pods similar to his own. But unlike his isolated chamber, this facility housed dozens of them. "Life sign detection?" he asked. 17 pods show active preservation fields," Echo confirmed. "Occupants in deep stasis." Jensen moved to the central control station, brushing away dust and cobwebs from the console. With Echo's guidance, he initiated the revival sequence for all viable pods. One by one, the chambers hissed open. Men and women emerged, disoriented and confused, their bodies augmented like his own. The last defenders of Earth, preserved as a final contingency plan. Dr. Alina Volkov was the first to speak, her Russian accent still thick after centuries of sleep. "Commander Cade, the awakening protocols, they were only to be triggered if—" "Earth is under threat," Jensen confirmed. "The Council has returned." Captain Marcus Reed, once the youngest officer ever to command an orbital defense platform, staggered from his pod. "How long?" he demanded, voice hoarse with disuse. "Almost 300 years," Jensen replied. "Humanity is believed extinct. Earth is considered a dead world." Lieutenant Nadia Patel examined her cybernetic arms with clinical detachment. "Then we are ghosts," she said softly. "Ghosts with guns." Within hours, the facility was fully operational. The survivors, soldiers and scientists transformed into living weapons, gathered in the command center as Jensen explained the situation. "The Council ships will begin their approach tomorrow," he concluded. "They expect to find a defenseless planet. We need to show them how wrong they are." Dr. Volkov had accessed the facility's archives. "There's more," she said, her face grim. "Before the final bombardment, there were rumors of other survival initiatives. Operation Lazarus, civilian bunkers meant to preserve a portion of the human race." "You think there could be others?" Captain Reed asked. "Regular humans still alive down there?" "If any of those bunkers held," Jensen began, but alarms cut him off. Incoming transmission, Echo announced. Origin, subterranean facility, European sector, signal degraded but authentic. The screen flickered to life, showing a woman's face. No cybernetic enhancements, just human features marked by determination and caution. "This is Director Alara Donovan of Sanctuary 7, she said, her voice breaking through static. "We detected your activation signals. If you're truly human, if this isn't a council trick, we've been waiting a very long time." Jensen stepped forward. "Director Donovan, this is Commander Jensen Cade, United Earth Defense Force. The Council has returned to finish what they started, and we're going to make them regret it." The woman's eyes widened. "The Sentinel program, it actually worked. How many of you are there?" 17 at this facility, Jensen replied. "Unknown if other Sentinel sites remain active. What about your people?" 812 survivors, she said. "Descendants of the original refugees. We've maintained technologies, preserved knowledge, and waited for a chance to reclaim our world." For the first time in centuries, Jensen felt something like hope. Then it's time to fight back. The Council believes humanity is extinct. By the time they realize their mistake, it will be too late. As night fell over the renewed Earth, Jensen stood at the facility's observation platform, watching the stars. The same stars that had once been humanity's promise, then its doom, and perhaps now its battlefield once more. The first Council ship would enter Earth's atmosphere in less than 24 hours. This time, humanity would be ready, vengeance among the stars. Dawn broke over the ruins of old Earth with a crimson glow that seemed to herald the coming battle. From his position on the mountain ridge, Jensen watched as the first Council warship descended through the amber sky, its silver hull reflecting the sunrise like a polished blade. "Primary target entering lower atmosphere," Echo reported. "Estimated touchdown in the ruins of what was once Chicago in 17 minutes. Jensen activated his tactical comm. "All units confirm positions." Acknowledgements came in rapid succession. Captain Reed and his team had secured the remains of an ancient military bunker that would serve as their command center. Dr. Volkov and 3 other Sentinels had infiltrated the old Global Defense Grid Control Station, working frantically to reactivate whatever weapons remained. Lieutenant Patel led the assault team, positioned to strike the moment the Council forces landed. "Sanctuary 7 is standing by," Director Donovan's voice came through, clear despite the distance. "Our people are in position with the recovered weapons systems." The plan was desperate but direct. Let the first ship land. Let its crew believe Earth remained dead and defenseless. Then strike with everything they had, capturing the vessel rather than destroying it. They would need a ship to reach the other 16 in orbit. "Remember," Jensen told them, "these are the descendants of those who tried to exterminate our species. Show no mercy because they certainly won't." The warship hovered over the crumbling skyline, engines humming with a sound that raised the hair on Jensen's neck. Massive landing struts extended from its underside, crushing ancient buildings as it settled onto Earth soil. A ramp descended, and armored figures emerged. Auralians, their insectoid forms moving with military precision, weapons ready despite their belief that the planet was lifeless. Jensen gave them 3 minutes to deploy, 3 minutes to spread out, 3 minutes to lower their guard. Now he transmitted. The attack came from all sides. Lieutenant Patel's team struck first, rising from concealed positions with devastating firepower. Enhanced reflexes and targeting systems allowed them to drop half the alien squad before they could return fire. From the perimeter, Captain Reed's snipers eliminated officers with surgical precision. Jensen launched himself from the ridge, armor systems propelling him in a controlled descent. He landed among the disoriented aliens, blade extensions deployed from both gauntlets. His movements were a blur of lethal efficiency, each strike guided by combat programming and centuries of stored rage. "Ship breach team, move in," he ordered as he drove his blade through an Auralian commander's thorax. Dr. Volkov's voice crackled over the comm. "Defense grid partially restored. We have limited orbital strike capability, but not enough to hit anything beyond low atmosphere." Focus on preventing reinforcements, Jensen replied. We need to secure this ship before they realize what's happening. The battle for the landing zone lasted less than 15 minutes. When it ended, the Aurelian expedition force lay dead, and Jensen's troops had suffered only minor injuries, quickly addressed by their self-repair systems. Captain Reed met Jensen at the ship's entrance, his armor splattered with iridescent alien blood. Ship security will be active. Getting to the bridge won't be easy. Nothing about this mission was meant to be easy, Jensen replied. They stormed the vessel with methodical precision, each sentinel worth 10 conventional soldiers. Their cybernetically enhanced reflexes and strength, combined with intimate knowledge of Council technology, made them formidable despite their small numbers. Corridor by corridor, deck by deck, they secured the warship, eliminating resistance. On the bridge, Jensen found what he was looking for: the ship's command systems and, more importantly, direct access to the Council fleet's communication network. Status update from Sanctuary 7, Echo reported. They've activated an old orbital defense platform, rudimentary capabilities but enough to complicate matters for the Council. Jensen nodded, interfacing directly with the ship's computer. I need fleet positions, security codes, and command structures. Commander, Lieutenant Patel called from a secondary console, incoming transmission from orbit. They're getting suspicious about the lack of updates. Jensen thought quickly. Dr. Volkov, can you synthesize Aurelian communication patterns? Already working on it, she replied. I can buy us maybe 20 minutes before they realize the deception. 20 minutes would have to be enough. Jensen's neural implants processed the stolen data at inhuman speeds. The Council fleet was positioned in standard harvesting formation, 15 ships in high orbit, with the command vessel holding position behind Earth's moon. I have a plan, he announced, but it requires something we haven't had for 3 centuries, luck. Using the captured ship systems, they transmitted false all-clear signals to the orbiting fleet while simultaneously preparing for the real attack. Director Donovan's people had managed to reactivate 3 more orbital defense platforms, ancient relics that had somehow survived the original bombardment, drifting silently until power was restored. The command ship belongs to Admiral Varek, Jensen told his team as they prepared. He was a junior officer during the original extinction campaign. He watched Earth burn once. I want him to see it rise. The plan was audacious. Use the captured ship to approach the fleet, deploy the Sentinels in tactical formation, and seize control of enough vessels to create chaos. Meanwhile, Sanctuary 7 would activate the orbital platforms, targeting the engines of the remaining ships to prevent escape. As they left Earth's atmosphere, Jensen stood on the bridge, watching his homeworld shrink beneath them. Forests had reclaimed much of the land, healing scars left by the Council's weapons. It looked peaceful from above, a deception that had nearly cost humanity everything. Approaching fleet perimeter, Captain Reed reported. Automated recognition signals accepted so far. Jensen turned to his team. Once we're inside their formation, we'll have approximately 2 minutes before they detect inconsistencies. Hit hard, hit fast, and remember, we need their communication array intact. The stolen ship slipped into formation with the others, a wolf among the flock. When they were positioned between 3 of the largest vessels, Jensen gave the order. Now, the assault was swift and devastating. Sentinel teams deployed from the ship in specialized assault armor, using momentum thrusters to propel themselves to adjacent vessels. Lieutenant Patel led her squad to the nearest engine core, planting charges designed to disable rather than destroy. Captain Reed targeted the flagship's defense systems. Jensen launched himself toward the command vessel, Echo calculating his trajectory to avoid detection. His armor's stealth systems rendered him nearly invisible against the blackness of space as he propelled himself toward the ship that, 3 centuries earlier, would have given the order to exterminate his species. Orbital platforms activated, Director Donovan reported. Targeting systems locked on engine assemblies. The void erupted with energy as ancient Earth weapons fired for the first time in generations. Beams of concentrated power sliced through space, striking with surprising accuracy. Two council ships immediately lost propulsion, drifting helplessly. A third suffered catastrophic shield failure. Jensen reached the command vessel, using a maintenance airlock to force entry. Inside, alarms blared as the crew realized they were under attack. "Admiral Varek will be on the command deck," Echo advised. "Security will be heaviest there." "Good," Jensen replied coldly. He moved through the ship like a ghost, his enhanced abilities allowing him to neutralize threats before they could sound specific alarms. The Auralians he encountered died with looks of confusion in their compound eyes, unable to comprehend how a supposedly extinct species had returned to haunt them. On the command deck, Jensen found Admiral Varek surrounded by guards. The admiral was older than the others, his exoskeleton bearing ceremonial markings that indicated his rank and achievements. Among them, Jensen recognized the symbol for the Earth Purification Campaign. "Impossible," Varek chittered as Jensen cut down the last of his guards. "Your kind was eradicated." Jensen removed his helmet, wanting the admiral to see a human face. "We evolved to survive, something your council never understood about us." Understanding dawned in the alien's eyes. "The Sentinel program, we thought it failed." "You thought wrong," Jensen replied. "And now you're going to help us correct a historical mistake." With the admiral secured and 4 council ships under their control, Jensen accessed the fleet-wide communication system. His message was brief but powerful, broadcast not just to the remaining vessels, but across all council frequencies. "This is Commander Jensen, Cade of Earth. 300 years ago, you tried to erase us from existence. You failed. Earth lives, humanity survives, and we are coming back." The response was immediate. The remaining council ships attempting to regroup, to flee, to prepare for a fight. But the combined firepower of the captured vessels and the reactivated defense platforms gave humanity the advantage they needed. One by one, the ships surrendered or were disabled. By the time the battle ended, only 3 had managed to escape into faster-than-light travel, carrying with them news that would send shockwaves throughout the Galactic Council. Jensen returned to Earth aboard the captured command vessel, landing near Sanctuary 7's hidden entrance. Director Donovan was waiting, surrounded by her people, humans who had kept hope alive for generations, preserving knowledge and technology for this very moment. "What happens now?" she asked as Jensen descended the ramp. "Now," he said, "we rebuild, we reclaim what was taken from us, and we prepare." "Prepare for what?" one of her advisors asked. Jensen looked to the sky, where stars were beginning to appear as twilight descended. "The Council will send more ships. They'll try to finish what they started, but this time we'll be ready." Dr. Volkov joined them, her expression thoughtful. The data from the Admiral's ship contained something interesting, evidence that humanity wasn't the Council's only victim. Other species, deemed too dangerous or unpredictable, suffered similar fates. "Potential allies," Captain Reed suggested. Jensen nodded. "First, we secure Earth. Then we find these others. The Council feared us because they knew what we could become. It's time to show them they were right to be afraid." As night fell over the renewed Earth, preparations were already underway. The captured ships would provide technology and resources. Sanctuary 7's people would supply the knowledge and skills preserved through generations of exile. And the Sentinels would offer protection and leadership as humanity took its first steps back toward the stars. Admiral Varek, secured in a makeshift cell beneath the mountain facility, watched with alien eyes as his captors worked. "You cannot win," he told Jensen during an interrogation. "The Council spans thousands of worlds. You are one planet." Jensen smiled for the first time since awakening. "That's where you're wrong, Admiral. We're not just one planet. We're humanity. And history has shown there's nothing more dangerous in the galaxy than humans with something to fight for." In the command center, a star map displayed the known territories of the Galactic Council, alongside the locations of other persecuted species mentioned in the Admiral's files. Earth glowed as a single point of light, small, seemingly insignificant against the vastness of council space. But that light was growing brighter. And among the distant stars, a new fear was spreading. Whispers of humanity's return, of Earth's vengeance, of extinct ghosts rising from forgotten graves. The war that had begun 3 centuries ago was not over. It was just beginning.